So somebody sent me an absolute gem yesterday. It was a whiteboard, and I think it was in a gym, not that it really matters. And the whiteboard had a quote on it, and the quote said, "There are no rules, only consequences." And this reminded me of two things. One is, well, it was the foundation of a lot of talks that I had with my kids. They were trying to figure life out. They wanted to know what the rule was for a certain thing. And I tried to explain to them that they have to concentrate on the consequences of what they do or don't do. The second thing I thought was, this is really a really good idea for a young business, for a business that's starting out or just past the launch phase. Because figuring out the rules is often a shorthand, say, for figuring out consequences. So you want to know what exactly should an assistant director be paid? What is the thing that happens if I do this or if I don't do that? And the reality is we have to figure out what happens when we do something or when we don't do something. Now, everything that we do has consequences, whether we're aware of what we do or not, or whether we're aware of the consequences, actually. And when we think about rules, a lot of times we're thinking about if-then ideas. If you get caught speeding, then you have to pay a fine. Obviously, you have to get caught. If you don't get caught, you can speed all you want. Except there's consequences to that too, especially if you crash into another car. So these rules also change over time. It used to be a rule that if you were going to pay money for a ride in a car that wasn't your own, that car was going to be painted yellow, there was going to be prices on the side of it, and the inside was going to smell like a rotting dumpster of takeout food sprayed with cheap cologne. That's no longer true anymore. So thinking about the consequences is a really good way to figure out how you should act. So when you're going about your work, when you're going about your decisions, when you're faced with maybe a fork in the road or something that you can do or not do, one of the things to ask yourself is, what's going to happen when I do this thing? Now, nothing is guaranteed. Maybe your prediction will be wrong, but if you think about it consistently, that will give you a better way of making your decisions, and that should help when you can't figure things out. Hopefully this is helpful, especially if you're in the position of having to figure things out in a new business.